If you plan on getting baby chicks this year, I wanted to shoot a quick video to let you know how to set up your brooder so you're prepared when your baby chicks get home. I ordered chicks from Murray McMurray Hatchery this year, and I just got a phone call from the post office and they're ready to be picked up. And so I thought I'd really quick show you how I have my brooder set up, and then once I get the chicks home, I will show you in the next video what to do once your baby chicks arrive. Okay, so right here I have my chick brooder set up right outside the house. And I'm using a rabbit hutch, which I think is super convenient because it has the lid that opens up from the top. And then these little, this front door can open up as well. And then it has the tray underneath that you can slide out, and it makes it really easy to clean. And so all I have right now before my chicks get here is the heat lamp, which is really important. I use a red light bulb, which they say is the preferred option because it helps the chicks not peck at each other. And then I have their feeder filled with chick starter, and I have a water that's been cleaned and sanitized, and it's filled with fresh water right now. Once I get my baby chicks, they are getting delivered with an electrolyte starter that you add to the water. So right now I just have some clean, fresh water in there, but once I get the chicks and get that electrolyte packet, I'm going to add that to the water as well. And I have the bottom of the brooder lined with some paper bags, and then I have it topped with shavings, and that's really about all you have to do. You can use other containers such as like galvanized water troughs or kiddie pools, or even like a Rubbermaid container like that. Just make sure you always have a lid on top so the chicks can't hop out, and make sure they have plenty of air ventilation, but you also don't want cold drafts of air. So right, like this cage has this wire, which I may actually put a tarp on one edge just so the wind can't go through, but the house is on this side, so no drafts of air will be flowing through this other side. And then you want your heat lamp. Right now I have it about 12 inches above the shavings, and you just want to start off in like the first week or so. When you put your hand down, it should be around 90 degrees or so. And one way to check to make sure it's warm enough for the chicks is once the chicks are inside, if they're all huddled together, they're a little too cold, but if you see them kind of start spreading out, then they're plenty warm. All right, I picked up my baby chicks from the post office, and now I've got them home, so I'm gonna show you as I unpackage them and what to do once you get them in the brooder. Alrighty, so I set the box inside the brooder. These little babies are ready to get out for sure. They are chirping away. Oh, look at them. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, let me get this lid off. Once you get each chick out, you just want to dip it in the water and let it get some water right off the bat. Whoops. Alright, so I'm just going to take all the chicks out of the box, let them get some water, and then I'll go on to what to do next. Alrighty, so I got them all out of the box, and you can see right now they're all pretty huddled up together under the light. And so I'm going to go pick up one more heat lamp for them, and I'm going to place it about right here on the edge, so then they'll have two lights in there. You want to kind of see them spread out a little bit. Right now I think they're pretty chilly, so I'm going to get another light. And then one of the other things I'm going to do is my order came with Quick Chick, which is vitamins and electrolytes for poultry, and you just mix that in with their water. So I'm going to get that and some water for them. And then I also have Grow Gel Plus, which you mix with water and then you spread it on their feed. It's just to help them get off to a good start. And that's one of the reasons why I love ordering from Murray McMurray Hatchery, because you can get those two things, and then they also vaccinate all of your chicks. And I got some white leghorns, silver laced Wyandottes, Rhode Island Reds, Polish, and whiting True Greens. Oh, and also some buff laced Polish. So those are all the chicks that I have in here. And you can see that they all showed up perfectly healthy. I didn't have any dead chicks. But if you do, you just call Murray McMurray Hatchery and they reimburse you for the chick. And so anyways, I'm going to head to the feed store and get another heat lamp. I should have probably done that before, but I thought this one lamp was going to be enough, but it's a little bit colder this week than I thought it'd be. So that's pretty much all you have to do when you get your chicks. Just put them in the brooder that's already prepared. Having it ready before you get them home is always important. And then just have their food and water ready, and then keep an eye on them. And one of the things to look out for is pasty butt, which is where you'll see the little like baby chick poop get stuck on their bottoms. And so that's one of the things to look out for. And if you notice that, you just gently rinse it off with some water. I'm sure that's going to happen in the next few days. And if it does, I'll shoot a quick video to show you guys how to clean that off and help them. But for now, they seem to be perfectly healthy. One of the common questions I get is, when can you transfer these little baby chicks from the brooder to the coop safely? And this little baby right here is 2 weeks old. And then I have some out in the coop that are 7 weeks old. And I also have some bigger chickens that are 2 years old. So depending on your situation and the age of all your chicks and chickens, the answer is going to vary. But I'm going to show you how I have it set up and how you can do the same thing for your chicks. So in the first few weeks at least, you want to have your chicks in some kind of chick brooder. Right here I have a rabbit hutch, and I have the heat lamp and the water and the feeders. And they should be in there at least for a month or so. Maybe not quite that long, but long enough that they grow in all of their feathers and they can be taken away from the heat lamp. So after your chicks have their feathers and you can take them away from the heat lamp, they're safe to move into the coop. But if you have older chickens in the coop, it's likely not a smart idea to move them in there too soon. In the past, I've had to wait as long as 3 months to transfer my baby chicks in with the older flock, because the older flock just continued picking on the chicks and they'd peck at them, and it was just a really bad deal. So if you have older chickens, you might have to wait longer to transfer the babies from the brooder into the big coop, but likely your chicks are going to outgrow the brooder. So you have to do something in between. And so I'm going to show you what I've set up. And right now the chicks that I'm going to show you are 7 weeks old, and I actually only have 3 older chickens right now, and so they're safe to combine because there's more baby chicks than older chickens, and the few older chickens I have right now are actually pretty sweet, and they seem to get along already well with these 7-week-old chicks. But for the last few weeks I've had them in the coop but separated, and so this is the setup I'm going to show you, which hopefully you could easily imitate in your coop as well. And it's a great in-between stage from the brooder before they go actually out into the real coop. Okay, so what I've done that's worked out really well is I've sectioned off a portion of my chicken coop that is inside the coop, but that keeps these chicks safe from the older chickens outside. All I did was set up a piece of horse paneling. You could also set up a piece of plywood or chicken coop wire, anything to just section off a portion of your coop. And it gave them a much bigger space than inside the brooder, and it allowed these chicks to just kind of grow up a bit more before I transition them out into the coop in the yard with the older chickens. So if you have chicks right now and you're wondering when they can finally go out in the big coop, I hope this was helpful in showing you what you could do in between, because they're usually ready to get out of the brooder but not quite ready for the coop. And so setting up a sectioned off portion like this is really helpful. And then once you do finally let the chicks into the big coop with the older chickens, if you have them, be sure to keep a close eye on them. You don't want the big chickens to pick on the little ones. As soon as they peck at them and they draw any blood, it just immediately attracts all the other chickens to them, and they can hurt that chick really quickly. So make sure you keep a close eye on them. If they seem to be getting along great, you don't have anything to worry about. They're usually going to start messing with them and pecking at them and being mean in the first few minutes, but I check on them at least a few times a day. And then after that, if they all seem to be getting along good, you're good to go. If you happen to have just one older chicken that's the mean one, then just separate her and leave everyone else together. But if it happens to be all the older chickens picking on the new ones, then you might have to separate them again until they're a little bit bigger. And it all just kind of depends. There's been some years, like I said, where I had to wait up to 3 months before I could combine them. Right now, these chicks are only 7 weeks old, and I'm already able to combine them with the older chickens.